So I had a follower reach out to me the other day, and they asked me, they said, hey, I noticed you did a first impression of liquid Brun, which is super trending right now, by the way. You said you were going to do a full review, and that hasn't happened. What's going on? I'm curious about the longevity of this thing and what it dries down to. So I said, yeah, let's go ahead and knock that out. You know what I mean? So today we're going to review Liquid Brun by Fragrance World and see if this is all that it's hyped up to be. Stay tuned.
Fragrance on me, God, I'm asking what it mean. Confidence loud, but the scent stay refined. Always in the zone, got a fragrant state of mind.
So if you've been living under a rock the past few months, you may not have heard of this fragrance. But if you are a fragrance lover like I am, this one has been all over TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, doesn't matter where you go, you cannot get away from Liquid Brun by Fragrance World. A lot of people say this is the best clone of Altair by Parfums de Marly that exists. Is it the case? I don't know, because I've never smelled Altair, so I have no idea. And it was the same situation when I gave my first impression of this stuff. You know, I don't know what Altair smells like. I wish I could have smelled every fragrance that ever exists. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. I do own over 400 fragrances, but given the fact that there's literally, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of fragrances in existence, I have not smelled them all. But I can tell you what this smells like to me, and we're gonna discuss that right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray this on skin, and let's go ahead and look at the notes up here. So I'm a mixed race. I am actually half Mexican and half Moroccan. And if you don't know what Moroccan is, it's sort of like Middle Eastern African descent. My mother is Mexican, my grandmother's Mexican, from Mexico, and that's sort of the culture that I grew up around. And I grew up with a lot of Mexican food. When I smell this, the first thing I think of is mole. I know that sounds crazy, right? But mole is the first thing I think of when I smell this, but not in a bad way. Now, let me explain why that's not a bad thing. So what I'm picking up is spiciness from the cinnamon, from the cardamom, but it's not the kind of cardamom you would get in like a La Nuit de l'Homme or something like that. This is more of like a raw cardamom, like raw spice cardamom. It really has this spicy, slightly vanillic, which gives it sort of a creaminess. The orange blossom mixed with the bergamot gives it sort of a nice brightness, but only in the opening. And then the elemi in this fragrance gives it a slight resonance. The praline gives it a nice sweetness, but almost kind of leans slightly gourmand, but not overly gourmand. This is not something that's going to lean super feminine. I think this leans perfectly down the middle as unisex. But that being said, this does remind me of straight up Mexican food in a good way. I just really like it. I like wearing this. Now, as far as performance goes, this stuff is not a super projector. It's not going to fill the room, but it is going to leave a nice scent bubble for a solid couple hours. And you're talking arm's length for 2 to 3 hours solid. You are going to have a nice scent trail. Once it hits the dry down, the citrus takes a back seat. What you're left with is a slightly woody, vanillic kind of vibe left on your skin. So you're talking vanilla, slightly spicy, and woody left on your skin. It's a really enjoyable fragrance. That dry down is going to last you a solid 7 to 9 hours. So from start to finish, you're talking 10 to 12 hours total. This is a very long-lasting fragrance. This has a great opening and a beautiful dry down. That dry down sort of happens within the first hour or two, so it doesn't really project off the skin super long. People will notice you for a solid 2-3 hours when you're around them. Like I said, you're not going to be filling any rooms, but you are going to be leaving an impression, and it's a good impression. This has sort of like an earthiness to it also that I really, really enjoy. That's something unique to fragrances that I don't own. You know what I mean? The spicy I own, the vanillic I own, but that earthiness gives it sort of like a really unique touch. Once again, I have to compare this to a mole. I just think it smells, and maybe I'm crazy, but I'm just reminded of eating a dish of mole when I smell this, and I sort of like it. What am I gonna rate this fragrance? I'm gonna give this a solid 8.2 out of 10. Do I think it's the greatest fragrance I own? Nah. But it's definitely up there in the top 30 that I own, which is saying something because, like I said, I own over 400 fragrances. Compared to other Parfums de Marly fragrances, no, I think there's some heat in the line, and I think it has some competition. But for what it is, this is a great fragrance, and I would not sleep on it. If you can pick it up for around 50 bucks, definitely do it. It's absolutely worth every penny, and I would not sleep on this fragrance at all. For a winter banger, you have to get Liquid Brun. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We have tons of reviews coming at you all week. I'm super excited to bring you guys some great content this week. I hope you guys continue to engage and watch my videos. Definitely hit that thumbs up. Definitely subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And as always, have a fragrant state of mind.
Yeah. Smell good. Yeah. Yeah.